Put it in gear.
Where are we going?
We're going to drive around the block. So, you know, one of the things that I haven't been able to do, even though you say, well, you know, you drove it off-road. Well, off-road and on the street are two different things. Now, some of the roads feel off-road around here. That's my plug.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure that, you know, how does the vehicle respond on the asphalt? Do you get a lot of feedback from the tires? And that's one of the things we're going to find out. And there's a...
So the question is, how is this version of the Bronco going to be as an everyday driver?
Everyday driver. Yep, you're all buckled up. So the one thing I really like, you know, the rake of the windshield, it's not laid back too much. It's not standing up like a board in front of us, but it, I think the rake of the windshield is perfect. I think the view of field looking out the windshield is great. You can see, I mean, we're not under a light, but you can, when you pull up to a light, one thing I've noticed is you can see the light without having to stop way back from it. Now you'll notice on the hero switches here, we are missing the front sway bar disconnect, front and rear locker. We do have trail turn assist. This is the traction control. You can turn it on or off. It's standard on, so you can turn it off. And this is the hazard lights. This does have the 8-inch touchscreen. Like I said before, this is the high package, so we have some features in here. So we'll see what we have there. Now, if you're looking for a great mid-size SUV for the occasional snowstorm, the occasional dirt path off-road, maybe even a trip to the beach, I think that the Big Bend is the medium of the road of all the trim levels out there, and I think it would be a great option. So we are driving a Bronco with a 2.7 V6. Very responsive. Of course, we'll get up to speed and we'll find out up to interstate speed. The temperature, just so you know, we're down to 86 degrees. Now that is not in the direct air. That would be more of your ambient. If you hold it up to the vent, it's going to be cooler. There's a few different things going on here. When you're in a car, you've got multiple heat sources. You've got heat from the engine, from the floor pan of the vehicle. You've also got radiant heating from the glass, the metal, the entire shell of the Bronco, especially the soft top. So the question becomes, how well will it cool down with that radiant heat, the heat gain that the Bronco has? If you notice when you're in a car and the AC is struggling and you drive into the shade or a cloud goes over, then suddenly it feels like it drops another 5 to 10 degrees. And it's probably because the balance point of the AC is keeping you comfortable, but the heat that the vehicle is gaining is equal to the cooling, right? So it doesn't cool anymore, it's just kind of holding its own. Once you get rid of some of that radiant heat like the sun, then immediately it cools down and you have to turn your fan down. So how does the Bronco perform AC-wise with a soft top? That's what we're checking out today.
Well, I think as a passenger, it feels great up here. Now, didn't you have some questions from some of our viewers about what the temperature or how well the AC worked in the back seat?
Yeah, so that was the question. So in multiple videos that are online, you've seen people, they've commented, well, the AC vents aren't in the side panels or mainly in the center console, they're underneath the seat. So how well is that going to circulate air to the back? And so one of the things we're going to do when we get back to the dealership, where we're not having to deal with traffic, is we're going to take the thermometer and we're going to check the temperature in the back about where your face height, the average face height would be, to see what it feels like. So very good response. We're on a section of the interstate that has a bunch of ripples in it. I know the first time I drove when they paved this, I thought my vehicle was coming apart. So it depends on what I'm driving. My F-250 really feels every bump. This Bronco does well. It actually smoothed a lot of that out. So I know that's getting precise with a bad concrete job on Interstate 64 here, but it's that bad right there. This just drove right over it. Very little feedback into the steering wheel or into the interior. Now, we do have a little bit of road noise from the soft top, but that's to be expected, right? It's a soft top. There's not a lot of, well, there's no sound deadening, just a little bit of material. So one thing I've said before, everything in the Bronco is laid out. It's kind of funny. Everybody drives by who's looking. Everything is laid out where it should be. And, where should it be? Well, it should be in reach. Everything, you shouldn't have to hunt for turning on the radio, the AC, or trying to figure out how to adjust a vent or a signal light or windshield wipers. Everything in the Bronco is right here in front of us. Steering wheel feels good, right diameter. I noticed off-roading, it was good. A good grip. But on the road, I can imagine it's comfortable on a long drive. One thing I learned off-roading was I don't have my seat adjusted right now. You should be able to put both hands over the steering wheel like this without pulling on your shoulders or your back. So people like that in front of us is why I wanted Badlands, so that I can literally drive off the side of the road if I choose to and drive around them. Don't do that, kids. You're not supposed to do that. It's just a joke. So we're going 58. We're going 60 miles per hour now. It feels good. Like I said, the sound, it sounds like a convertible. Becky, in relation to your Mustang that you had, your convertible, what does it sound like?
Well, I think it's about the same. I mean, convertibles are just known for some road noise.
Right.
And it's all in what you want. If you want that convertible, you're going to take the road noise.
Yep. Yeah, it's part of it, right?
Right. But then there's lots of older vehicles that aren't convertibles that still have road noise.
Right, exactly.
So I'd rather have the fun car that you can easily take the top off and go and get some sun on your shoulders than to have a quiet car.
Yeah, so this guy riding by us here, he was looking all the way out, so, he's literally turned around. Now he's still looking at us in the mirror. That's what the Bronco brings. It brings that, it's the heritage of the Bronco. It's the icon, the American icon, Ford Bronco, and suddenly now it's back. And there's a lot of us, if you're watching this right now, you might be someone that watches Bronco videos every day like myself, or maybe you're just finding this because you've seen one advertised or seen one on the road and now you're looking into it. The Bronco is such that icon that people have been waiting to come back. Car manufacturers typically screw it up when they bring back an icon. Ford, home run with this Bronco. So it's pretty amazing. Now, Becky, the color, this keeps me awake at night.
Yes, it's a tumultuous conversation in our household. When I walked up to the Area 51 Bronco today, I liked it.
You do like it?
I do. I think that it, for better words, it looks tough. It's a little different than a lot of stuff that you see on the roads, which I like to be different. I think it looks better on the bigger version. I'm a fan of all the new Broncos, but I do prefer it on the bigger four-door.
The drivers here in my area where I live, they're a little
nutty,
little adventurous, right? Spirited. You're supposed to have a spirited ride in a Bronco off-road, not on the interstate on your way to work. So I have to really pay attention here, but it's everything I remembered in Texas, except this time I'm on a smooth road at highway speeds. So I can now tell you, without any question, between off-roading, it feels great, and driving on the road, I love it. I absolutely love it. I wish I had mine today. I would go on a road trip in a minute.
Yeah, as a passenger in the front seat, I find it very comfortable.
The 2.7, like I said, if you put your foot into it, it's got a really good shift. It downshifts pretty quick. And now we're actually going 65, and we're in a 65. So I was going a little bit below the speed limit, but it's very responsive. You know, Gavin and I talked on our live stream, on our Sunday Night Live episode, about the V6 versus the V8 option. And look, quite frankly, I don't think it's needed. I think it's quite capable with the 2.7. This one actually has the tow package on it, so a couple of different features on this one. If you're looking for that really good, I think medium of the road trim level with features, toward the higher end of not the higher end, but just above the middle of pricing, I say about 3/4 of the price of a loaded Badlands, you can get a Big Bend. If that makes any sense. So I think the sticker price on this, we'll look at it, maybe is $47,000 or so. So AC check in the 2021 Ford Bronco Big Bend. So it's kind of hard to tell in the light here, but we have the AC on. We're out in the sun. We are at 42% or 40% humidity and 68 degrees inside the Bronco. Now I want to make sure I'm not right in front of the vent. Now if you're in front of the vent, it's a lot colder, but I mean the ambient temperature. Can you see that, Gavin? Yep. So we're at 68 degrees. You know, I was able to drive a 2.7 Badlands with Sasquatch in Texas off-road. Of course, that was a entirely different terrain itself, but driving around town, asphalt roads, I'm in a non-Sasquatch Big Bend, and it is really nice. I like it. I like how everything fits. You know, the cockpit's right where everything's located. I just like the height of the window, the windshield. The steering is great, the responsiveness. You don't have a ton of feedback as far as the tires, at least on these tires. Now, if you had 35-inch tires on here, maybe, you know, a lot more, of course. But this Big Bend, if you're looking for a medium of the road trim level and price level, probably not medium on the price, 2/3 the price of maybe the one I'm getting, or a little closer, but medium trim level, meaning the creature comforts. And this has a mid package in it, so the only option really on here that I could tell was the hitch. So we do have the hitch on this one. We have a soft top, the automatic, like I said, with the V6. Very responsive, just fun to drive. And my passenger, Becky, shooting the video right now, what do you think about it sitting over there?
I think it's pretty comfortable.
Good tight turning radius?
Well, I haven't driven it yet, but it appears to be that way, yes.
Yeah, and it's, you know, the funny thing about it, and I don't really know. I know my pickup truck, my F-250, does this, is that when you hit certain bumps, you sort of get that rocky feel, right? That it's the suspension's rolling front to rear. You're not getting that unusual bounce. It's kind of that annoying bounce, actually. This is more of a comfortable, it takes those big bumps and it kind of moves it from, say, the front of the vehicle to the back. Something I think is interesting is the temperature outside is low 90s. And in here, without the AC vent running, I think we're at 83 degrees. And it just cut off on us. We're at 83 degrees in the low 40% range on humidity. Now, I'll tell you something I've learned. There was a question about the AC. At least in this model, let me tell you how that works. We have a selection, which we'll show you in the video. We have a selection that air distribution, you can determine whether it's defrost, the dash vents, or dash vent and flooring. When you turn the air on the floor mode, you actually get it below the seats in the floor vents. You get it below the dash and below both seats, the driver's side and passenger side. But when you have the AC on just the dash vents, there's no airflow underneath the seats. So if you're questioning, you know, about the vents in the console, they're not even blowing, you know, the floor vents aren't even blowing the AC back there in regular AC mode unless you configure it so you have it blowing out of the floor. So just a note, the floor vents underneath the seats are only for, in my opinion, really to be used for heating, because air conditioning doesn't work as well when it's blown down low like that. If you're on a long trip and you're getting cold in here, you might be able to turn it on the floor. But if you need AC and you need it quick, you need it out of the dash. And so basically the dash vents are really what's cooling the back. We noticed today on a, like I said, low 90-degree day, we had about a 2.5 to 3, depending on when we checked it, degree temperature difference between the front seats and the back seats. So super impressed with the AC, and we have a soft top. So, and there you have it. I like the Big Bend. It's a great medium of the road when it comes to all the 7 trim levels of 2021. The Ford Bronco is a nice vehicle, whether you go with a base or first edition, it doesn't matter. This vehicle is nice. If you're looking for a medium of the road, a great SUV to go off-roading, sand and snow, it doesn't matter. Drive it to work every day. The Big Bend should be an option for you. Hey, a big shout out to Win Ford for giving us this opportunity to review this Bronco, and I really appreciate that. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to our channel. Hit the bell icon so you know when we have a video coming out, and the adventure awaits.